Hello, I think we're live, yes. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about how to feed your baby in your stretchy wraps. I'm gonna show you some techniques, I'm gonna show you different carries, and I'm gonna show different ways to feed, whether you're breastfeeding, chest feeding, or bottle feeding. I'm gonna show you how to do that today. So, a bit of tea. And we can get started. Feel free to type your questions if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer as we go along, or I'll answer at the end. And I'm going to use Boba wrap because I really love Boba wraps. They're very stretchy, but they've got some good bounce, so they come back very easily. And also it's two colors, this one, so I can show you when I'm flipping shoulders and stuff like that. So it's quite a handy one to demo with. All right, so what I'm going to start with is just do a pocket wrap cross carry, which is the carry most people do with their stretchy wraps. After that, I will show you a kind of an alternative carry, which is even easier to feed in. So, if you want to watch like a full tutorial on how to do this carry, there is one on my YouTube channel. The link to my YouTube is on my bio, so you can go and watch it there, and I also show how to feed. I'm going to very quickly put it on now. I'm going to cross on my back. Zip. And I'm going to bring my tails through my pocket pass. Like that. And I'm going to tighten. I'm going to lift. Guide my slack down. To go. I'm going to cross my tails, my front and on my back. And because it's super long, I'm going to come back and double knot here. Some wraps are shorter, so you can tie on your back depending on the length of it. I'm going to lower my pocket pass, and I'm going to grab my cross pass and give it a little pull to make some room. And I'm going to bring my baby onto my shoulder, bring the leg through the inner pass, through the outer pass, and then let the bum drop here. Make sure my baby's close enough to kiss the top of the head so I can see airways at all times. And then I like to pre-flip my shoulder, so I spread it like that, knee to knee, so I can keep the airways clear. Make sure it's nice and tight, very important. Always carry your baby upright, and if your baby falls asleep, make sure you can fit 2 fingers between chin and chest. Okay, so that's all the safety you need to look out for. Okay, so I'm ready. I've got my baby in my wrap. Suddenly, I need to feed. Okay, so if I want to feed upright in a stretchy wrap, it's very feasible. It will very much depend though on how stretchy your wrap is, okay? So for one-way stretchy wraps that don't stretch that way, might be a little bit tricky to do, okay? Some two-way stretchy wrap like mine might not have as much stretch as this one. And if you are breastfeeding and you have rather big boobs, it might not work as well, okay? Because if your nipple is very low down and you can't lower your baby down enough, it might not work. Sometimes it doesn't work doing an upright feed or koala feed, depending on what your baby's like, how they like to latch and so on. So you can try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Don't worry too much. Okay, so I'm going to remove my pocket pass. Oh, we have a visitor. Kimchi visitors. Support my baby, and because the Boba wraps are super stretchy, I'm going to lift the fabric off my shoulders like this. So I'm going to grab some slack basically, and I'm going to bring my baby down. If I've got my pocket pass in the way, I'll just lower it down and keep supporting your baby. And basically you want to lower your baby down until baby is, let me grab my fake boob, nose to nipple, so you can latch. So you can feed upright like that if you can manage to lower your wrap low enough, okay? If you can't do it, don't worry, there's lots of different ways to do it. If I want to breastfeed upright, support always the top of the shoulders is very important. So it's not hands-free unless your baby's got full head control, and that usually isn't until they're like 5 months, something like that. So always support. But hey, I've got one hand free, which is really great. gives you lots of relief on your shoulder. It's really lovely to do it, and you don't have to take your baby out. So you support the top of the shoulders, not the head. Leave the head free always, or you can use your elbow, your hand like this to support your baby. When you feed in slings, few things to remember. So hand always here, head free always. Make sure you can see your baby's nose. So always you monitor your baby, okay? So if you have like all the children and you're running around after them, just still monitor your baby, it's very important. I find it helps to bring their hands to the breast so they have control and they can push away when they're done. Head and spine always aligned, okay? So don't bring your baby to an angle to feed. It's very important that the head and the spine are always aligned. And that you're happy and comfortable. That really matters as well. Okay, so for upright breast or for chest feeding, you can do it like this. If you are bottle feeding, you probably don't need to lower your baby as much down. So just a little bit of lowering down and then you can feed. If you're using a bottle, really make sure your baby's head isn't tilted back. So it's very important to just support just enough like that. If you find that's not working or the head is tilted back too much, what you can do is bring the legs to the side. Okay, so I've got one leg out. I'm going to bring this leg onto the other side. So I'm going to just wriggle my baby around, keep my passes, and my screen is going black again. And I'm just going to bring my baby in kind of like a seated position like this and semi-reclined for bottle feeding. So that's a little bit easier to get good positioning from what I've experienced. So like this, you support your baby top of the shoulders again with your elbow, and then you can feed like this or with your hand. And it's just it gives you lots of relief on your shoulders. It's really comfortable way to bottle feed, so always like this. But really make sure if you do it upright, you're not overextending the back of the head. Everything else applies, head and spine aligned. You can always see your baby's nose, okay? So if upright doesn't work, and that's all right, don't worry, lots of different ways to do things. You're gonna move the fabric away from the back, and we're just gonna take baby out here. So we're just gonna take baby out, support. I'm just gonna retighten a bit here because I've really loosened it when I went upright, but I didn't need to undo my knot at any point. I've just loosened it. And when I loosen my cross pass, I can pull my pocket pass and I will put it back in place and retighten. Okay, so cross cradle, you can do upright, or you can say, I'm just going to take this opportunity to take a seat because it's important to think about yourself as well. So we're going to bring baby through the cross pass like that, zhoop, and then you're going to spread your passes. So you can spread just one pass if you prefer. If you don't need too much support, you can just remove the other one. If you prefer having more support, you can bring the second one across. It's totally up to you. Now what can happen is this. So the face should never be covered by any fabric, okay? So really make sure you remove any fabric from near the face. You need to have some very good airflow. And then from here, for breast or chest feeding, I'm going to make sure that the fabric is supporting from inside the knee pit here, across the back to top of the shoulders. That's going to give my baby some very good support. It's okay if the legs cross a little bit like that, it's totally fine. But again, here you can see, zhoop, I've got good angle, ear, head, neck and spine are aligned, and this is what we want every time. So I'm going to bring my arm across the back, so like my elbow will be near my baby's bum roughly, so I can support the top of the shoulders. And here, get the boob out, hands to the breast again, nose to nipple, you latch, support the top of the shoulders. And you can feed like that, standing up, sitting down. You can use one arm, you can use two, or you can use your elbow. And again, look, I've got one hand free, which is great. Okay, so that's for breastfeeding. For bottle feeding, you can bring your baby like that, but you don't need to be so reclined. You can sit your baby up a little bit more, so bring your hands inside, and you can sit your baby up a bit more like that. You choose how you spread your fabric. Again, if this is not useful, remove it. If you feel it's giving you support, use it up like that, and then you grab your bottle and you can feed. Semi-recline, use your elbow and then feed. Obviously, if you need to feed on another side, just do exactly the same but on the other side. Okay, other ways to feed in a cross pass. If you want to do a football hole or rugby hole, depending how you call it, doesn't matter, you can do it with the wrap. So if I want to feed on this boob, for instance, I would grab the pass that goes across the boob, not the other one. This one I would just move it out of the way. I bring my baby through this pass like that, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to spread the fabric from knee to top of the shoulders like that, and I'm going to support, so my elbow will be near the bum. Everything is aligned, and here I can just latch and feed like this. You can use your other arm if you want extra support. You can spread the fabric a bit more, but again, make sure the nose is always clear and there's very good airflow. So that's another way to feed. Obviously, if you want to do the other one, you use that pass. Always the pass that goes across the chest, like that. Other way to bottle feed, you can use your pocket pass. Give it a little pull and you can sit baby down like that. So that's like a quick way to do it. Gives a bit of relief again, and then you can feed like that. Obviously, if you are also tube feeding or anything like this, you can just bring your tubes through the fabric, make sure it doesn't get tangled, it's not in the way, and you can put the tube in your baby's mouth. You can also, if you are pumping at the same time as breastfeeding, you could have baby on one side and then the pump on the other side. So you can hold baby and then hold your breast pump at the same time. So the holding will be done mainly by the wrap. You still need your elbow, your hand to support the top of the shoulders, and then you can use your pump as well. And you can even use some of the fabrics to put the pump onto the other breast. So that's a really handy way to do it as well. Okay, so what else could we do? The idea of using the wrap is basically you do whatever's going to work for you. You don't have to have like a very set way to use the wrap. You just use the fabric the way that is going to support you and baby the best. That's going to give you some relief on your shoulders. You can go one hand free. As long as you always respect the safety that I've just talked about, then you're good to go. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a bit of a different carry from the pocket wrap cross carry. It's called the pocket front double hammock. There's so many words. Terminology in Babywearing is really quite something. So it's a variant to the pocket wrap cross carry, and it's an even quickest way to bring baby to the breast into a cradle or cross cradle carry for feeding. So very easy, starts exactly the same way, so I don't need to restart anything. What's going to happen is that in this carry I'm not going to have leg passes. Okay, so it's just something to bear in mind, that your baby's legs are not going to come out here, so he'll just sit straight, he or she, sorry, straight into the cross pass. This carry is also very good if your baby is very small or premature and you really can't spread out the hips at all. The hips are very tightly together, so this way you don't have any fabric near the knee, so your baby sits straight across. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So here it's important to try to remember which one is the outer pass and the inner pass for that. So your baby's going to go into the inner pass, so you bring baby onto the opposite shoulder and you're going to sit your baby through that pass, so both legs will come through. You bring your baby back upright like that, and then you're going to sit your baby. I can show you how to flip the shoulders after that. So your baby will sit straight in there. Then you're going to bring the outer pass over both legs, and then you can bring it over the back. So basically here you see, I'm just going to pop it out on purpose. There's nothing around the knee, so it's quite a nice way to sit very small babies who can't open up their hips because there's nothing in a way, there's no leg passes, okay? So once I'm here, grab my pocket pass, bring it over both legs, and I'm good to go. If the fabric is near the face, I can pre-flip or I can flip it after. Let's go zip, like that, bring my hand under, and I can go like that. Okay, so I make sure the fabric is not in the face. Okay, so now I want to go from an upright sitting position to a cross cradle or cradle feeding position. To do that, I remove my pocket pass, and then I'm going to move the outer pass kind of out of the way like that, and then watch. Zip. I know it's close, isn't it? Go straight onto the boob like that, and you can feed. It's super quick. Make sure the fabric's not in the face. Again, if you want more support, you can bring this back over and you can feed like that. If you want to bottle feed, you just sit up your baby, okay? To go back upright, you go like this, and then my baby's knees are really not bending, so it's very difficult to demo sometimes. And then we're going to just bring that outer pass back over, so make sure it's not going through the knees, so there should be no fabric by the knees, like that, okay? If I want to go onto the other side, I would need to first remove my inner pass, so this pass needs to be removed. So I'm going to move this outer pass a little bit out of the way. Make sure you really support your baby. I'm going to bring this over, and then this one over the back, and then we go, and there you go, okay? If you wanted to have the inner pass as well, you can always spread it like that and bring it back inside. So the beauty of this is that you don't have to lift your baby out at any point. It's a very quick way to do it. It's a very quick way to go onto the breast, or to just sit your baby sideways to then bottle feed, okay? And then you're just going to bring your baby back into, or you can take your baby out, whatever you're doing next. When you bring your baby back upright, always give a burp before you put the pocket pass back over, because the pocket pass is a bit tight, so it can push a bit on the stomach, and some babies really don't like it. So you can just burp your baby and then go back with the pocket pass and then go about your day. This tutorial is also on my YouTube channel. It's called the Pocket from Dabo Hammock, something like this. If you're not sure, if you can't find it, drop me a message and I will send you the link. Okay, I think that's about it, really. Is there any questions at all? I'm very happy to answer. If no questions now, sorry, I saw somebody wanted to join. So Anna, I think you wanted to join. Do you have any questions? Anything I can help you with? Sorry, I only realised now. If not, if you're watching this not live, you can drop me messages. Yes, so same Mrs. question. How do you get your top up? That's a good question, Georgia. Yes, very good question. So let me explain to you how things work. You have 4 wardrobes. No, actually you have 5. The time where you were not pregnant or breastfeeding or baby wearing. Then there's that time you were pregnant. Then there's the wardrobe for breastfeeding. And then there's the wardrobe for baby wearing breastfeeding, okay? So all these wardrobes are those 4. You need to think about what you're wearing, basically. So if you're baby wearing, never wear dungarees or a dress you can't pull down. So I'm absolutely wearing the wrong dress so that I didn't think about this. So what I usually do is have like do the 2 top things. So like one tank top, like this one I would have underneath. And then I would have a t-shirt that I can lift up, or I would have like a top I can breastfeed in, so I can just pull down like a v-neck shape or something like this. And always wear like minimum layers, so like a short sleeve or long sleeve t-shirt, and then I add cardigans on top, so I don't have too many like thick layers Also, when you're baby wearing, you get quite hot. So having like minimum layers just makes it a lot easier. So it is the same question, because you really have to think about how you dress. Just always think, how am I going to lift this when I'm feeding without having to take my entire dress or thing off. So yeah, the two top thing works well. Whatever bra you have that is handy for breastfeeding in, you can undo and you can feed like that. I hope that answers your question. Any more questions? I'll wait 20 more seconds and then I'll let you go. Cool, I don't think there's any more questions. Oh yes, Georgia, okay. Good, I hope that helped, very important. And yeah, if you need any help, there's loads of tutorials on my YouTube. If you can't find them, drop me a message, I'll send you the links. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to go because I don't think there's any more questions. Yeah, feel free really to just drop me messages. I'm always happy to help. And have a lovely day. Thank you.